Hey girl, welcome to Beauty and Brujería 3-day event. We are on day number 1. How's everybody feeling? Hey, enlightened dominatrix, the absolute in the building. How are you? So today is really exciting for me and really special for me because I get to share with you a download that I got from Spirit. And we're talking about beauty and brujeria, but we're not just here to learn, we are really here to remember. So I want you to take that in and keep that in mind as we go through this today. That this is not about superficial beauty, but this is about self recognition and self reprogramming. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and set some other things up real quick while everybody come in the building. If you're here, let me know you're here. Say hey in the chat. Y'all know I like chatting with y'all while we get it going. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am Zokai, the badass priestess, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a certified makeup artist, a certified life coach, a priestess, and a certified badass. And I've been that all my life. Okay. And that's just a little bit about me, just to let you know that I have the credentials because I'm serious about my craft. Hey, Jody Drake. Hey, Deanna. Hey, y'all. Hey. But really, more important than that is that everything that I talk about, everything that I'm going to share with you all, I live. I lived and I'm living. This is my real life. This is my real story. This isn't something that, I just woke up one day and was like, oh, that sounds cute to talk about. I'm going to talk about that. No, I was really going through a really hard divorce from a public figure, and at the time, he wasn't at the status that he's at now, but he was right on the brink. He was right on the way. And that was a really hard time for me because before we got married, I was that girl. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like everything, hair, face, y'all know the song. That was me, right? And then somewhere in between saying I do to him and having 2 kids, I ended up not looking like that girl. I ended up looking crazy. Hey, good morning, Sharita. Thanks for being here. And so I had to move back to my parents' basement, the basement. Nothing was cute about that space except for my baby pictures. And I couldn't figure out, how did I end up in this basement? How did I end up in this space with a broken relationship and looking a damn mess on top of it? So I couldn't think about anything. I couldn't think about healing. I couldn't think about meditating. I couldn't think about none of it. I was just like, who is this person I'm looking at in the mirror? And it took me several hours of bath time, going back to my roots, which is what you guys saw before. Everything about me, my foundation had always been beauty. So how did I forget about it now during this time in this space? Going, having to get another job and just, being in the workforce. Even if I was thinking about being with somebody else, who the heck was going to be with you and you look crazy, right? So all of that came into effect, and I really got down to it, and I started reading the Bible, ironically enough. And in the Bible, I was reading the book of Esther, and these ladies were doing beauty rituals so that they can have one night with the king. And I had read this before because I grew up in the church. My parents are pastors, all of that. You guys probably heard me tell that story before. But what caught my attention this time was these are real things olive oil, the herbs that they were using, um, frankincense and myrrh. Like these are things that I could get my hand on. And I was like, yes, I could do this. If she did this and she got a whole king, and she was running things, I can do this to turn my skin back around, to get my self esteem back on track, to get my confidence back. And so I created a product for my skincare regimen, and it really started working. And from that, birth Beauty and Brujería, which is the system now that we're going to get into. I started doing it daily, and I made it a ritual. And I put, some spiritual elements into it that they wasn't teaching over down at the church, okay? Jesus didn't know nothing about what was going on down in that basement. And so this is what we're going to get into today. Not good morning. Oh, hey, goddaughter. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, girl. Your godmama be a little slow sometimes. So this is what I want you to remember. This is a quote. Your mirror isn't just a reflection. It's a portal to the woman you're becoming. So why beauty first? We don't always hear about that. We usually hear from the inside out. We're going to do things from the inside out. We're going to transform and heal from the inside out. My philosophy is the outside in, and you're going to heal better when you look better. So one of the things that I noticed instantly when I started working on my skin is that it changed my vibration immediately. Beauty is an immediate energetic anchor. So before you even open your mouth, your energy has spoken. Let's get into a little bit of the psychology behind beauty as a spiritual technology. Because most people see beauty as, decoration or a final surface level touch to look good for the external world. But when we approach beauty as first, it becomes a spiritual portal, a technology that reprograms us at the deepest level in our psyche, and not just in our psyche, but really in our souls. We're imprinting something into our soul. And it's literally the fastest way to anchor a new reality. I know that sounds crazy, right? That's not always something that we talk about or think about. Um, Beauty First also addresses, which is really important, especially if you're going through a heartbreak or you are going to a different religion. One of the things that we need to address is our emotional wounding, right? We've been wounded emotionally. And beauty addresses that directly. So it soothes that inner child who was told, she was too much or not enough. Have you ever been told that you were too much? I get that all the time. Like, girl, you just be too much, or you real extra. I know some of y'all probably have, because y'all are badasses. Let me know in the chat if you've heard that before, or that you were not enough. And even if you haven't been told you're not enough, it's something about when you go through a divorce, whether it was your fault or not, his fault, whatever, you have that feeling of maybe I wasn't enough, or maybe I wasn't good enough. But beauty can heal betrayal by reconnecting you to your own desirability and divinity. Because in those moments, we forget that we are divine beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we forget that when we're going through those emotional ups and downs. And so beauty can act as a somatic therapy. So what it does is it shifts the stuck energy through pleasurable and embodied action. Deanna says, I've been told I'm extra all my life, right? And at first, it doesn't make you feel good to hear that, but now it's like, you damn right I am. And what else is going on? Okay. So, beauty first is not about superficial glow ups. Let's really drill that into our brains. Hey, Tiara. It is about using beauty as the most potent act of spiritual alignment. We want to get in alignment, and beauty is the most potent and quickest way to do that. It's a technology, um, somatic and psychological and energetic tool that really helps you collapse the gap between who you were and who you are here to be. The absolute says, yes, I have been told I'm too much and now I love it, right? It takes on a whole new meaning now, right? I love that. I love that for us. So when we get into the science of mirror work, because this is where we're going to start with our anything beauty, we're going to start in the mirror. It isn't woo woo, it's really neuroscience. And we don't always think about it that way. But I've come to disrupt our previous thought processes and previous things that we thought about beauty. When you see yourself differently every day, like your brain adapts to match that new identity. So your brain is wired to respond to imagery before logic. When you see yourself in the mirror, what happens? Your subconscious mind is instantly recording that image as your truth, no matter what affirmations you say. That's why sometimes the affirmations don't always work, because we're looking in the mirror and we're seeing something different than what we're saying. And your subconscious mind is going, nope, this image is the truth. So this is why you can tell yourself, I'm confident 1,000 times. But if you still look in that damn mirror and you see a woman stuck in her past, or your nervous system is all, in array, it won't believe you. Your subconscious won't believe you. Your nervous system is going to be like, no, we not. We not confident. We are still feeling a mess. We are still nervous, or whatever stories that you tell yourself, right? So the beauty first psychology works because it uses visual evidence to communicate directly to your subconscious and your body. It's the fastest way to interrupt an old identity loop. So if you want to know how to get out of those loops, that's how you do it, with beauty. Most of us, we go around avoiding mirrors because they show us the truth. And that's scary, right? And not just our face, but the disconnect between who we are and who we want to become. But there is spiritual power in beauty. So let's talk about that a little bit more. The historical power of adornment and paint, we're going to get into. We're going to talk a little bit about sacred face painting and rituals across cultures, and about your beauty is a prayer, not just a presentation. Um, when beauty becomes your first spell and not your final step, you initiate a living ritual. So everything you do that's a part of your beauty regimen, when you're putting on your lipstick, your foundations, you're doing your face washing, your skincare regimen, every chosen fabric that you choose becomes a coded affirmation. Your adornment becomes an altar to your future self. And then you begin living as a prophecy fulfilled rather than a hope deferred, which is the current state that a lot of us is in. But beauty has always been a spiritual technology. Always. Those ancient priestesses, they didn't wait to be healed before adorning themselves. No, they adorned themselves to call in the healing, to call in the power, and to call in the presence. So when you oiling your hair and you got your red lips on and you put on your sacred scent, those are not mere vanities, but those are vortexes, activating your field, magnetizing new realities, putting you on a different timeline. Women, we have always known the power of adornment, right? Always. So, from war paint to ceremonial face markings that our ancestors did, our beauty has always and will always be an invocation. But we resist, right? And why do we resist? We resist because we've been conditioned to see beauty as vanity, especially in spiritual circles. I have no clue why that is. I did a podcast about this a long time ago, about looking spiritual and what that means. Society has a certain image that they think you should look like if you're going to consider yourself spiritual, and it's really silly. Yes, Lana, my grandmother taught me that same thing. When you feel your worst, you need to look your best, because it works, right? It really works. Keep control over you, in my opinion. That's why, yeah, you want to keep control over you. Exactly, 100%. So stop resisting. We want to get over um, the generational shame and religious conditioning, moving past the fear of judgment and betrayal. And then sometimes it's just the comfort of invisibility versus the power of visibility. We've been conditioned to see beauty as vanity. Keep that in mind. It's a condition. That's the key word. It's a condition. But you can reprogram that because your beauty is your first spell of influence and protection. Okay, I skip ahead a little bit. We getting into the ritual that I'm gonna share with you guys. One of my rituals. Let me make a few more points here. When we think about the mirror, I want you to now think about it as your altar, not just something that you're looking in to check to see if you put your lashes on right, if your wig on straight. I want you to think of it as an altar. When you move beauty to the front, you really stop asking for permission to be seen. We don't need permission anymore to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, any of that. You want to stop waiting to feel ready. You may never feel ready. You're going to miss out on the woman that you're becoming because you're trying to feel ready. How silly is that, right? Instead, what you want to do is you want to dress your readiness. You want to oil your confidence. You want to paint your power onto your lips. That's what you want to do. You want to become your own spiritual sanctuary. And what that means when you do that, you're then becoming a living altar that calls in respect, love, money, devotion, luxury. Because Carissa, I see you. You want to look like luxury. 100%. 100% the goal, right? So when you combine the mirror with, your sacred items, you have your candles, your oils, your affirmations, all of that, it stops being a tool of critique and then it becomes a portal of rebirth. Okay, let's get into our ritual, which if you I'm going to take me off for a second. If you have registered for the event, when I'm done with this, we're going to go over into our private sanctum and we're going to get into the sensual side of things. And then you'll be able to have the ritual, get the replays, and all of that good stuff. The link is in the description. So I'm going to go through this ritual with you, and then we're going to hop over into the portal, the afterglow, so we can talk about sensuality and soft power. Okay, we're gonna get a little spicy over there. We can't do that over here on YouTube. Okay, so this ritual is called the Sacred Mirror Reclamation Ritual. So these are the things that you're going to need: your mirror, which we now know is what our altar, a candle, it could be white or red, a lipstick or oil, something that feels empowering to you. And you want to set your space. Why is setting your space important? Because energy flows, right? There's energy in your space, and you want to make sure that the energy and the atmosphere is conducive to whatever work that you're about to start. When I was still in church, one of the things that I did was set the atmosphere. And so we would come in and we would pray and we would move the energy. Whatever was going on in church, we would move it so that it was prime for the people to receive the word from whoever was given the word that day. This is the same thing that you want to do when you're about to do your ritual. So you want to set your space, light your candle, place it beside or in front of your mirror. And then you're going to take 3 deep, slow breaths to ground yourself. You don't ever want to rush into a ritual, especially when you're doing something that pertains to beauty, because we're going to see it and we're going to feel it. Like you was rushing doing that. Then you want to anoint your lips or your fingertips. So you're going to apply your whatever you chose, your lipstick or whatever. I'm just going to say lipstick. And then you're going to breathe deeply and speak softly. I am not just seen, I am sacred. How many of us need that reminder that we are seen and sacred. Okay, then you're going to gaze deeply and look into your own eyes. That's hard for us sometimes, but that's something that we really need to get into, is looking into our own eyes so she can tell you the truth. Then you're going to hold your gaze and notice what emotions arise, because I promise you, you're going to get emotional about that thing. And then just soften and keep breathing. And then you can speak your own invocation. You can make up one, or you can use what I have here for you. And you're going to say it out loud. I release the old image. I reclaim the true reflection. I am soft. I am sovereign. I am seen. I am safe. It's important to remind yourself that you are safe, especially when you're looking in the mirror, because what did we say earlier is reprogramming. And then you want to seal it with a gesture. It could be touching your heart and then your lips, or then you lightly touch the mirror, something to close your ritual. And then you want to visualize a soft glow wrapping around you like an aura. And that's going to conclude your ritual. I know it sounds very simple, almost too easy to be true, but that's why it works. We overcomplicate things. Keep it easy for yourself. And then we have a journal prompt. It says optional, but I'm going to say it's not optional. Like, just do it. You got to do it. Do the journal prompt. Who did I see in the mirror tonight? And what parts of her have I been hiding? And if you feel so led to share with us in the community so we can support you in that, we can do that for you. Okay? And so this is not enough to just do a ritual. You want to always make sure that you are integrating. Okay? And so how you integrate it is you're going to reflect on what you just did, what you just said, and then do the journal prompting. That's how you're going to integrate this work, so that it is now a part of you and you are a part of it and you are embodying the things that you're doing. That's how you collapse timelines. All right, so we're about to get ready. Go ahead, if you have not already done so, click the link in the description so that you can get access into the private sanctum so we can get a little spicy, okay, and answer some questions if you have questions about anything we talked about here, or some more things that's going to come up for you. And then so we can guide you to your next steps, okay? I'm looking forward to seeing everybody over in the private sanctum. And then again, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be here for day 2. Okay. So hop off now. Go head over to the sanctum, and I'll be over there in a minute, and we're going to get into sensuality and soft power.